Honestly, I'll just say I think Notion Mail is a very different take than anything that's out there. Like, break email down to its building blocks, let you think of an inbox as a template that can be customized, and then let AI help you organize.
I mean, the Notion community is like die hard. Like, they love Notion.
Yes, they have a very high bar for software and have been very, very direct in their feedback. And
which
honestly,
is helpful. That's
it's great. Yeah, I know many of them personally now, like by first name, and like we message all the time to get feedback. So that's
awesome.
been great, but they truly are very harsh critics as well. Where we landed was like something that we hope appeals to every email user. We've tried to go a little above and beyond and say, like, how can AI actually like help you organize and restructure your whole inbox instead of just like helping you write.
Welcome back to Get the Check. I'm Priya, and today I'm here with Andrew Milich. Andrew runs Notion Mail and was previously the CEO and co-founder of Skiff, which is a privacy-first collaboration suite. Skiff joined Notion in 2024, and we're coming up on the launch of Notion Mail. It's right around the corner. And so to get started, I wanted to talk about why email and kind of like what about it got your attention.
So I think email's incredible. It's one of the only products that literally billions of people use every single day. So it's kind of like the major league of SaaS apps where there's only a few products that, everyone in the world ubiquitously uses. I think email is really special because it's kind of like this public identity. You can reach anyone over email. So you can cold email people, you can get jobs, you get your college decisions over email. And then you also can build up like your company or your domain and everything you do online. And so it's just this kind of like ubiquitous connector. And I think it's really exciting to work on because everyone uses it, but also it's used in so many different ways.
Yeah, I was looking into like the volume of emails that are sent every single day, and it's 350 billion messages, which is an insane amount that like to this day is still used. Because I feel like at work, we always talk about like Slack or Teams or other messaging platforms, but email is by far the leader.
Yeah. I think that also makes email a really fun problem to work on for an engineer, just because like Skiff started literally with 0 users, like 0 emails in the database. And it was a fresh platform for people to make a new email or like get a domain. And so like we would build up from 0 to literally billions of emails where you have to kind of store everyone. We had to encrypt it for privacy. And then, we ended up just like scaling to many, many billions of emails in the database from 0, which was a really fun engineering problem.
Yeah, I also work in email security, which I feel like is super niche. Like I don't meet anyone that works in email. And I get a lot of questions about that. But I think it's super interesting just because the volume of information that you have access to and like the data that's passing through is incredible.
So many ideas off of that. Like I think email itself is just a fascinating startup domain, like building an email product because billions of people use it. But there's also just so many like adjacent areas that are so ripe for startups, like email security or email sending or email marketing or, just an email API product or like designing beautiful emails. There's just like infinite ideas where if you're an email person, you can kind of branch off into whatever market or customer or user you want and just have a really interesting kind of like ripe startup domain.
Yeah. How did you become an email person?
I mean, I think we started Skiff to really focus on privacy. So to build this end-to-end encrypted private generation of SaaS products that people use every day. And we ended up finding that email was just like the most exciting, rich domain for that. Like when we were like, we're offering encrypted email, just like millions of people started signing up. Yeah. So we branched out from what we were originally doing, which was more like files and docs and collaboration, which was still really, really interesting. And then into email, and that started to explode.
Got it. So the original idea behind Skiff, and I guess getting into that story a little bit more, was more a privacy first collaboration suite. And then you really like found your niche in email. Is that?
Yeah, I think email, which was really interesting at the Skiff time and for the Notion Mail case, like truly has not been disrupted in a long time. Despite billions of people using it, it still feels the same. It's actually accumulated like more and more features, starred, labels, folders, pinned. We have these same concepts that haven't really changed. There's like a little AI and maybe summarizing and replying and drafting.
Yeah.
But other than that, email's like super stagnant, I think. Like,
totally.
Feel free to disagree.
Yeah. I mean, the most recent thing I've seen in Gmail is like Gemini is trying to like rewrite your emails now.
Yeah, I think the drafting is like a really great case for helping people write emails. It's kind of like the first thing you would imagine with like generative AI. It's like, we're going to make AI that can write emails for you in a style and just like, make you write faster. And even just like the tab autocomplete in Gmail, I really like too. So, but with Notion, I think we've tried to go a little above and beyond and say like, like, how can AI actually like help you organize and restructure your whole inbox instead of just like helping you write.
So taking it back to Skiff and your decision to actually join Notion, I want to talk about what led to that decision and like why you ultimately decided to join Notion.
Yeah, that's another great question. I mean, with Skiff, I think what we really loved doing was email. Notion was starting to dream of this like, future of Notion Mail and Notion Calendar and Notion being this kind of like really connected set of apps that you can use for all your different parts of like your work and your life. And that got us really excited. We were like, we love email. We know how to do email so well. It's been explosive for us. It's been better than anything we've ever done before. So I think this kind of collaboration could be really special. And that has led to like a year of really rethinking email from the ground up. It's been very challenging.
Yeah.
But I think that's like what we did with Notion Mail.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So when they approached you, they had this idea in mind that they were going to go after Notion Mail. Had they started building it out at all? Or did they come to you as the experts?
I think it was in the idea / like conceptual phase at that point.
They had like a concept doc and nothing else.
maybe just that. But Notion Calendar was like poised to launch at that point. So like it had been, a journey from like Notion acquiring Cron to like that becoming Notion Calendar, becoming interconnected with Notion, having like scheduling and, recurring and booking links. And so I think they had built up like a really compelling Notion Calendar use case. And we're thinking like, what are these apps that people use all the time for like work or life? Let's rethink that. And email was like clearly a prime candidate.
Yeah. So when you joined Notion, how did it change the way you thought about like building products and just like working in that environment? Because it feels like it would be super different.
Yeah. I think the first thing is Notion has, 100 million existing users.
Yeah.
So we want to make something that makes Notion Mail really good, really easy to use for them. I think like in terms of how we work, we're still like the whole Skiff team. We love working on email. Everyone who joined is like still working on the product today, which is really special.
That's awesome.
And so, I think that has been amazing. It's like take a product you love working on and building and designing and now reimagine it in the Notion way. So I think what we tried to do is like not just take our opinions, it's really trying to think like what is the Notion first way of doing email? And it's like rethink it back to its building blocks. Like instead of just one inbox, make it really customizable. Like make templates for your email. Like let AI help you organize into different sections. So I think it's really that. We kind of adapted all these things we knew how to do in email and then, rethink them in the Notion way.
What is the main value prop you would say of Notion Mail and using it?
I think Notion Mail rethinks email back to its fundamentals. So it's more customizable and powerful than I think any email product out there. You can, use templates for your inbox no matter how you work. If you're a recruiter, you deal with marketing emails, or you want to see a list of emails by, by customer or by contact. It's really like rethinking email to be customizable. And then,
which is kind of what Notion's done with like all of its products, I would say. It's just like taking the same thing and doing that for email.
Exactly. So exactly. It's like, Notion's rethinking software down to its building blocks and then letting AI, help organize and make the experience really powerful for you. And that's what Notion Mail does.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So on the AI front, obviously that's what everyone's doing. That's the direction that tech is moving in as a whole. How did you think about incorporating AI into email? I'm curious just like how that works within Notion. Like, is it a team that you then go talk about with like all the use cases that you want to use AI for? Is it like integrated into your team in Notion Mail? Kind of just how that works.
Yeah, it's a great question. There's a lot to dig into on the design iterations.
Okay.
So Notion, I think, has a really, really strong set of AI features, like answering questions, drafting, like even setting up kind of like your whole workspace and databases for you. So that's really powerful. I think we tried a lot of concepts and we ultimately settled on a few pieces that I think are really simple to understand, but are powerful. So we, experimented with like really powerful like workflows and automations and letting AI like write docs and, translate emails for you. Yeah. And where we landed was like something that we hope appeals to every email user, which is just like organizing your inbox for you and like filtering signal from noise, and something that adapts as you use the product more. So as you like label or you remove labels, like Notion AI will learn from that. So I think we went through all these iterations because Notion AI is really powerful, but we kind of landed on something that we hope just appeals to the pedestrian regular email user.
I saw the example that you did. I think it was at like some keynote when you announced Notion Mail a while ago, and I saw like all the different tabs and they were like misspelled, and how you can like now label it. And I thought that was so cool. I've used Notion Mail, and you're basically able to just like type in any type of query. Like you can explain, I want all of my recruiting emails between like this time period or whatever it may be. And then you guys go through, select all the different messages that you see, and you can like yes or no, like did we correctly pick up on what you wanted?
Yeah.
And then it'll label it automatically for you, which is so cool.
Yeah. It takes basically zero knowledge of AI to use this feature. You could type in like, I think in the example you were thinking of, it's like animals or political newsletters or hiring and recruiting emails. And you can just type that in and we'll find a selection of emails. We'll label them all, and then we'll use that as an example set for future emails. And so it's really adaptive. If you want to like, label emails yourself, it'll learn from that. But it's really simple. It's like, you create a label and then that label's like automatically managed by AI. And in the past, like when you make a label, you're trying to be more organized, but it really just creates more work for you. It's like you make a label and now you have to remember, I have 30 labels when a new email comes in, and I have to hit L or, go through a menu that just gets longer. And now like when you make a label, it should actually make your life easier, because every email comes in could have a label and like basically then get organized.
Yeah. And like you were saying, there's like so many different use cases for AI, yet you like ended up on this like labeling approach as like the key feature that you wanted to like really dig deep into. Did that come from like customer feedback, research? What was it that like ended up there?
That's a tough question. I think it's some research and it's some like email intuition. So the intuition, like the kind of blend of both, would be way more people read emails than write emails. And you probably have like 3 accounts, maybe like a work email, a personal email, an old personal email.
A burner email that I made in like middle school. Mine's magical PK.
That's a good one. I'm going to not reveal mine. So you're probably like writing emails maybe on one of those. It's just like labeling and organizing is like so much more common and needed, I think, than just writing. And so the writing stuff we do, and like we'll write, and you can write based on Notion docs, and we'll like suggest replies for you. But I think labeling just like matters to everyone and can just like reduce this huge pain point. So that's why we went there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I also saw something you said about how like we live our entire lives on email these days. Like every time I get a credit card or anything, I'm like, go paperless. Like anything, I'm like, paperless, send it to my email. I don't want to receive anything in the mail. And so I think we do still use email as that like catch-all of like all of our important documents come via email. It's not coming via anything else. Yeah,
and I think labeling's really cool because when you're doing it with AI, you can actually do more than whatever like a kind of email filter rule could do before.
Yeah.
So for example, if you're trying to label, I'm going on a trip to Las Vegas, or like you're trying to hire someone new. In the past, you might be like, okay, label emails like that come from my recruiting software as recruiting, or label emails from Southwest Airlines or United with like, the United label.
Yeah.
What you could do now is say like my trip to Las Vegas as a label, or, emails related to hiring. And then whether it's a resume or whether it's like a rental car or hotel, those all can get labeled. So it's a lot more powerful.
That's awesome. Actually, that would be so helpful for like group trips. I feel like when you're like with your friends and you're like forwarding each other like reservations to new restaurants or like hotels, things you're saying, like having that all in one place would be so helpful.
Yeah. And the models are so smart. Like, you could have an email that's like about Caesar's Palace and it will know that you're probably referring to
you're going to Vegas. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. What are some of your other favorite features of Notion Mail outside of the labeling aspect of it?
I love the templates. Okay. I think that just gets me so excited.
I mean, like Notion templates are like all the rage. Like I know I've looked through them before and it'll be like Silicon Valley girl template. And I'm like, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. I wish we were at the level of like templatized inboxes where it, had custom backgrounds and colors, and we're not quite there, but it's still really flexible. So, you can show different contacts. You could have like a really beautiful newsletter template where it's highlighting, I get morning brew and I get TLDR, stuff like that, just really organized.
Yeah.
So I think the templatized inbox is a super exciting direction, and I want to see more from that.
Yeah.
I think the last is scheduling. So we tried to get really creative in the actual email compose editor. So we have like markdown shortcuts and the slash command and, insert snippets and a scheduling feature. So like you could do schedule and we'll make a booking link right in your, email compose window. And so I just think like the slash command and scheduling are this really powerful productivity hack. I mean, like one thing we love building is editors. And so using the email editor should feel like a vastly upgraded experience to just like typing in an email and then like getting kind of like 2005 level text formatting. You know, like using the slash command and using Markdown, and like you can put a call out block in your email and you can put a code block in your email. It's like, wow, you know, emails have been stuck so far in the past that it's really hard to kind of like just write an email as a human and make them look really good too. So we work a lot on that.
Yeah, because I feel that way with like using Slack at work. I used to use Teams at work, and then when I moved to Slack, I was like, I don't even know how to use this. I feel like a boomer right now. Like, I don't know. I'm like writing in like full complete sentences, and everyone's like, whoa, like, why are you being so formal right now? But I kind of feel that way with email. Like, I transitioned over to Gmail, and I'm like, oh, I need to be like the most professional version of myself that I am right now. And I feel like it's just like a mental thing because of like how the interface is.
Yeah. I don't know exactly where on the spectrum of like casual to professional email is, but I think it's getting a little more casual.
I agree.
You know, I think like Dear X, sincerely, it's a little formulaic. Like maybe, you know, we're kind of just starting as like a back and forth. So I think that's our general take. It's like pushing it a little to the casual side.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe not quite as casual as like a messaging app.
That makes sense. So moving towards your launch, which is upcoming, I want to hear about your approach to the GA, because something that I've been fascinated by is like this waitlist, like EA that you guys have basically been doing. And I know it's generated like a ton of hype on like Twitter and all the different platforms. What was, I guess, the reasoning for this waitlist? Like, was the original idea to generate this hype, or was it you wanted to like test out the product and like see the volume of emails and like load test basically?
That's a great question. I think optimistically it was to generate hype and product feedback. I think realistically a lot of it was, you know, we launched the waitlist probably 7 or 8 months after Skiff was acquired.
Yeah.
So that was a very fast turnaround time to build Notion Mail. And so I think there was a bit of, you know, let's get product feedback as quickly as possible, but to really launch to truly millions and millions of people and have like a top-notch Notion quality experience, we needed a little more time.
Yeah, that makes sense. What do you think was like the unlock to be able to launch that quickly? Do you think it was like the team having worked together for the previous like 4 years and already like knowing that, or what was it?
I think that's a big part.
Okay.
We've built an email product before.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is, I think all the traps you can fall into, or many of them, we were able to anticipate.
Yeah.
So a lot of the complex stuff around like replies and forwards and like embedded images in emails, there's just like domain specific knowledge that I think we had, or like email attachments, or, you know, it's basically like an infinitely paginated list with like a set of 5 or 6 default inboxes, like, you know, inbox, sent, spam, archive, trash, drafts.
Yeah.
So kind of a lot of this stuff we already knew how to do or had already built.
And did your team grow when you joined Notion as well, or was it the core team that stayed the same?
It's mostly the core team. We've had some kind of, I guess, Notion people. Like, we're all Notion people now, but, you know, we've had some growth in backend or in iOS and some kind of, you know, variability in that. I think our team also has mostly stayed the same, but with like some amount of, you know, shifting around.
Yeah. And as you were building Notion Mail, how did you think about like other competitors in the space? I guess like when I think of it, my mind goes to like Superhuman. I think that's like what a lot of people, especially in the Valley, like to use. But it also does come with like a price tag, and there's like other things as well. So I guess like with that email wave and the productivity wave, like how did you think about the competition?
We've tried every email app. So there's definitely a few that have like, you know, years of popularity, or that a lot of people in San Francisco use.
Yeah. I feel like it's so San Francisco and New York, like specific.
Yeah. I mean, we've truly tried everything. I do not think at all there's, you know, honestly, I'll just say, I think Notion Mail is a very different take than anything that's out there.
Yeah.
Like, I think, you know, every email product has brought innovations for decades. I think yet it hasn't changed that much. I think we've really tried to do something very different, like break email down to its building blocks, let you think of an inbox as a template that can be customized, let you hide even like email subjects or body text, and that let AI help you organize. So I think we've tried everything. We've tried to take like, you know, the best parts of things that, you know, we see people love. But I think we truly kind of came up with a very different Notion first way of doing things.
And what are you thinking about? I know the product hasn't even GA'd yet, but what's next for Notion Mail, and what are the things that you guys are thinking about?
Yeah, we have very clear product feedback.
Okay.
I think people want to see very deep mail Notion integrations.
Yeah.
And we've tried some. We've built scheduling. We've built, like let AI draft based on Notion docs. Your account is connected. A lot of stuff is really connected, but I think people want to see these like almost apps that combine Notion Mail and Notion. So, manage recruiting in a way where like an email comes in and maybe you send it to Notion, or manage a kind of CRM type workflow where it's very connected to Notion Mail and to Notion. That's the kind of clearest product feedback that we have.
Yeah.
And then also Notion Mail is launching connected to Gmail. People ask us, one, how can I connect other email products, or how can they make, a fresh email from scratch?
Yeah, that makes sense. And are you getting most of this feedback? Where is it coming from? Is it coming from Twitter, or is it coming from other places?
It's coming from Twitter. It's coming from, we do a lot of our own customer support today. So during the waitlist / beta period, we've worked very directly with like hundreds, maybe a few thousand Notion ambassadors, Notion community members.
That's awesome.
Who just are very,
the Notion community is like die hard. Like they love Notion. Yeah.
Yes. They have a very high bar for software and have been very, very direct in their feedback. And
which
honestly,
is helpful. That's
it's
great.
Yeah. I know many of them personally now, like by first name, and like we message all the time to get feedback. So that's
awesome.
been great, but they truly are very harsh critics as well.
Okay. Well, as I keep playing with the product, I'm going to start texting you feedback that I have.
Yeah, the worst thing is when people, just have some small feedback and like don't use the product.
Yeah.
But the Notion community does not. They were very open in telling us, I need X, Y, and Z, to work.
Yeah, no, we have been using Notion to like organize all of our docs, because we like originally started off and we like had everything all over the place. It was like Apple Notes and Google Docs. It was like all over the place, and we were like, okay, we need to consolidate this into like a product that can do it all, and we landed on Notion, so I totally get it. Another thing that I wanted to talk about on the pod is I saw a tweet that said you guys have not spent a single dollar on marketing, and is that true?
I think it is currently true.
Okay.
That said, we will likely do a lot of marketing around the mail launch, and I'm not on the marketing team, but that's another place where we've gotten a lot of great help from, Notion as an organization, which has a really talented marketing department. Totally. That tweet in particular may have been a meme though.
Okay, got it. So it's debunked on the pod.
Debunked, but maybe accidentally true. That said, I'm doing a lot of the tweeting, and so I would not take it all as, super seriously.
Totally. Well, what's been like your favorite part, I guess, of being a part of the Notion Mail launch? Like, what do you personally enjoy the most? Is it like the strategy piece of it? Is it the execution, or is it like the marketing? Like, what do you enjoy doing?
Well, I think building a really good product matters the most.
Yeah.
Because we got to do that with Skiff Mail for a while, and building a great email product people use all the time. So I think it's not lost on us how big an opportunity this could be. Like mail is so huge, ubiquitous that we really want to get it right. I also love the community aspect. I love tweeting. I love, messaging the Notion ambassadors. For a while, we did like daily office hours around the really early alpha period. So I love getting feedback.
That's awesome. Cool. I also wanted to switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit more about you and the things that you've been involved in. I saw that you have your pilot's license, and so I wanted to get into that and ask you, like, what inspired you to become a pilot?
I was inspired to do that. I think I just like airplanes a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just a very, very intense, like, focusing activity.
Yeah.
Where it requires a lot of, like, mental bandwidth, a lot of thinking, and I think it's just like pretty relaxing, but also very focusing. Yeah. So very fun.
Relaxing is a crazy way to put it.
Well, it's just like you kind of have to be like fully present in the moment. That's focusing on what's going on and, staying safe. And then, if you're flying in like bad weather or, at a new airport or a difficult location, it's just like so fun and interesting and memorable. And like you get to see a totally different perspective, like flying down the Hudson River and, being like a couple thousand feet in the air. You're like flying like, parallel to all the buildings in Manhattan, or you're flying around like the Bay Area above like the Golden Gate Bridge and Alcatraz. It's just like a whole new way of looking at things that I think, takes a lot of training and hard work, but is also very accessible. And now I actually meet a lot of people in SF who are learning to fly or have learned to fly.
I know. I hear about it all the time. I feel like it's become a thing.
Yeah. I feel like it's like an under the surface, like major hobby, but...
when did you get your pilot's license? How long has it been?
It's been probably like 9 years now.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's been a while.
Wow. Okay. So where were you in life when you were doing this?
I was in college,
You were in college,
and
okay.
I think at the time I was an intern in Los Angeles when I took the test, and that was after a few years of, training and learning. And it's a little difficult in college to like find an airport and go, and it, definitely takes a lot of effort and time and money. So it took a few years.
Yeah.
Then.
No, that totally makes sense. What's like the coolest place that you've been to?
Flying down the Hudson River in Manhattan is incredible.
Yeah.
Like you're taking like, desktop wallpaper level photos.
That's
and you
so
just look out the
cool.
window and you see like the entire skyline. Also some very memorable flights over like airports, like flying over San Francisco airport, and you just look down, or flying over like LAX, and you look down and you see planes like landing and taking off. And it's just kind of like, oh my God, the whole system is like, functioning in such precision, and it's pretty exciting.
That's awesome. The other thing I wanted to talk about is you are a Sequoia Scout. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about your experience there. I saw that you were also involved as like a college ambassador. So how did you get involved in that community? I know something a lot of people are interested in is being a part of like that VC community. So curious to hear more about that.
Yeah, I think the journey to doing that and kind of, starting to angel invest in some companies was very natural. I'll be honest, like Skiff in its former employee and intern network has had just ridiculously good founders, like truly like 6, maybe even 7, maybe up to 10 companies, like of all types. Crypto companies, productivity companies, security companies, enterprise software companies. The volume of companies started by former Skiff team members has just been off the charts. And so that's really been the introduction where, even as when I was still a founder, just getting to support them in some small way was very meaningful. So I think, I was having that network. In college, it was more about like hackathon community and, people I met. That's how I met my co-founder, Jason. But I think up to today, it's been so many people who used to be on the Skiff team now starting companies or joining great startups and building things. So I think that's been amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I guess like outside of that, just out of curiosity, like what are the types of things that you go to? Like, is it typically just like catching up with friends, like people that you've met on the team and like worked with before? Or I guess, how are you looking at these new like up and coming companies?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just catching up with people who I had met or who used to be building Skiff, or honestly, people I had just met, like people who we interviewed or people who we made offers to, or, now I think through Notion have like, there's a whole other community of like founders at Notion, or like people who were at Notion and started companies. That has been more than enough like time to meet people and hear about some really incredible companies. I don't know, I'm curious. I'm sure you meet a lot of people starting companies, from your current job or former jobs. What about you?
Yeah, I think it is just a combination of like meeting people, and then once you start talking to people, they know people, and you like go to different events. And I really feel like, especially in SF, the community I feel like is very tight knit. And so I think you just like end up meeting people that way. And if you're interested in what they're working on, like people are so down to just like chat with you. Honestly.
Totally. I think the other thing I'll add is email actually has a lot of startups too.
Yeah.
So, I've been in email long enough to see a lot of different people working on it.
Yeah.
And it's really exciting. I think people feel like AI is good enough now to build really kind of personalized email assistants and email drafting and email workflows. So email also is a way to meet people.
It totally is.
Things.
I feel like when you're that niche in what you do, like I feel like I've been most focused on like email security, and there's been a ton of startups. I know there's a lot of companies that have come out of like the company I work at as well. And so getting to see like what ideas people come up with like in the email security space is really interesting.
Yeah, totally agree.
Cool. So we like to do a segment on our podcast called Hot Seat Questions. So I'm just going to do some questions. It'll be like rapid fire. You can get as deep into them as you want.
Cool.
The first one is inbox zero or inbox chaos?
I think neither. I don't have more than 3 or 4 unread emails, but I like to see them all in my inbox. Thank you. Yeah, just not an inbox zero person, I guess.
That's okay. That's okay. What is a bucket list destination that you have to fly to?
Oh, I'd like to fly to Catalina Island. I've heard it's really
yeah.
pretty. It's off of Los Angeles, but I never got the time.
Yeah, Catalina Island's awesome. I'm from Southern California, and so I used to go to Catalina Island.
Did you fly or did you take a boat?
I did not fly. I took the ferry. I would take the
Nice.
ferry from like Newport to Catalina Island.
Well, I haven't even taken the ferry, so I've yet to get there.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's actually such a funny story. In like 5th grade, we did a trip to Catalina Island, and we got to go snorkeling because that's like something you can actually do, which is crazy in California.
There were fish?
Yeah, there were fish, and we got to
Wow.
go night snorkeling actually. So you
Very
would like
cool.
move your hands, and there would be like bioluminescent fish like lighting up around you, and it
Wow.
was so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's super cute. Okay, do you think that anytime in the near future, Slack or any type of messaging products would replace email?
Definitely not. I think email is here to stay, but in a really good way. You know, it's just it's like our public identity on the internet. And I want to be able to cold email people. I want to have like, you know, an entry form for my company or my family or whatever. I think email is here to stay.
What is one of your favorite memories from college?
I have so many.
We can list top 3.
Okay. Definitely planning tree hacks. So planning Stanford's hackathon, which is where I met Jason and so many other friends like, you know, Peter on the Skiff and Notion team and, you know, so many like former Skiff interns. I think that has been a favorite memory. I actually might have enjoyed coming back to tree hacks as a non-planner like the following year or the year after where it just got better and better.
Yeah.
But I also love planning it with the whole team.
Yeah, Tree Hacks is huge. I know like I went to Berkeley, and so we had Cal Hacks, which is also like a huge deal.
I've been to Cal Hacks too.
Yeah, I went like freshman year, and I remember just like you're in like the huge room, and it's like sponsors from like every single company imaginable. It's just like everyone grinding. It's a crazy vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to Cal Hacks like at the stadium and, you know, it's like a, you know, Disneyland theme park for like engineers where there's like overflowing food and prizes and all this stuff. And I just see it get better every year. Like they're offering thousands of dollars in cash prizes and like, you know, GPUs. And like back then we were offering, you know, like a free Xbox or something. So there's kind of a different level of scale.
Yeah. And I feel like it's not even about like what you win. Like if you win, you have like all the clout on campus. Like that's like what it's really about. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think engineers just like seem to be getting younger and younger in their accomplishments, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. And the last question is, what do you think the future of email looks like?
I think we will be able to read fewer emails. So, you know, maybe you're reading summaries, or like a lot of this AI filtering is happening behind the scenes. So it's learning from you, which we do in Notion Mail. It's learning from you, it's improving how it labels, and then it's filtering things out. And then I hope like we can automate end to end a lot of the painful parts. So like scheduling, you can actually have, you know, like your AI assistant do the full workflow. And we've gotten really close with Notion Mail today, just like with the calendar and scheduling integrations. But I think it'll do the full kind of back and forth. So yeah, I'm curious to see. But I think one other way of thinking about email is like, it's kind of like an API in some ways. Like you need to contact a company and get like help with customer service, or you want to like apply to a job. In some ways, it's like taking an action, you know, through this like interface of email. So I'm curious to see how that evolves too. Like if email will, you know, end up integrating in more apps, or it just becomes like more of an API style software.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. I feel like a lot of things are moving towards that like API approach of just like having more customization, being able to like take the data and like do anything with it. So that makes sense. Well, it's been so awesome having you, Andrew. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Notion Mail will be released soon, so definitely check it out once it's released.
Stay tuned, and if you DM us on Twitter, we'll get you on board.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.